Alright guys, welcome back to another break. Nice and early Saturday morning. Dad's getting into it before we even flick over, but he's alright. Away you go, you're alright now.
I thought you had, so...
No, it wasn't quite there, I just unmuted. But yeah, he's opening the starter packs. While he's doing that, we'll quickly read out the team list. Random team: Broncos, Jason Holmgreen; Raiders, Nathan Thompson; Bulldogs, Kieran Zanoni; Sharks, Tim Wilson; Titans, William Goodger; Manly, Robert Jack Kelly; Storm, Scott Crimo; Knights, Ben Sannon; Cowboys, Matt Crowhurst; Eels, Jason Saradlis. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Panthers, Dave Martin; Rabbitohs, Nathan Thompson; Dragons, Greg Tunks; Roosters, Robert Jack Kelly; and Warriors, Matt Price. So that is our team list for today, guys. Or for this morning, I should say. We do have 146 on this afternoon. Chat's open, team list is open, let's go. So Newsagent starter packs to start off with. Blue Power Hero, Dallin Zalesniak for the Warriors. Nick Kotrick, Power Hero Blue for the Bulldogs. I believe a lot of kids on the Gold Coast playing their first league game today. Pink Power Heroes, Tommy Talau for the Tigers, numbered 58. Blue Power Hero, Tommy Talau for the Tigers. Pink Power Hero, no, Blue Power Hero, number 2 header, or Hero, sorry, Power Heroes B, it's actually called. Header number 2 for me. So if you can knock out that cat, I'll try and get it out as quick as possible for you, mate. Not going to guarantee it's in this break though. Cowboys predictor. Blue Power Heroes A. So header number 1. Pink header number B. We didn't have too many header cards in the last break. 108. Green header number 1, and that's number 75. For anyone unsure, these are randomised between the teams that are featured. Obviously they're not featured on the card, but the team helps make up the 9-card picture. Green 126, Tommy Talau for the Tigers. Why did that move on me? There we go. Blue, Tommy Talau again for the Tigers. God, this is the Tigers case.
See the collation's very well done in
there. Yeah.
Looks like albums are, in the case of 10 albums, got 3 of the 1 card out of it.
Right. 81 green, Ben Hunt for the Dragons. Something different. We've had headers and Tigers basically, 1 Warriors and 1 Bulldogs, now Dragons. Number 81 for that one. In my perfect world, everyone gets something evenly. Makes it easy. We got a blue Power Hero header B. Well, everyone's getting the Power Hero header by the looks of things. Blue Brian To'o for Panthers. Pink number 47 Kieran Foran for Manly. That way, there we are. Still not sure why they did the numbering like that.
Like up the top.
Up the top on the side. Blue Dry Arrow for the Rabbits. Thank you, Mushley. Black Dry Arrow for the Rabbitohs, number 22. We didn't have too many blacks in this one either. Well, looks another black. Yep. Yeah, I found it funny. Harley Gray put up a Power Heroes white, and I was completely and utterly lost. I had to go through and check his pictures, but that's what he's referring to, guys. The header for the black is more of a silvery white colour. I hadn't actually seen it before I seen his picture. Number 43, and that's header number 2. And we have a blue to finish us off, Brian To'o for Panthers. Alright, let's get these packets open and then we'll go through our hobby starter packs. Master and Apprentice, black, Emery Goula for the Raiders. Jake Granville, parallel for Cowboys. Season to remember, Chad Townsend for the Sharks. Adam Fanua Blake, parallel for the Warriors. Keeps moving on me. Season to remember, Murray Talagi for the Cowboys. Reid Marnie, parallel for Eels. Master and Apprentice, Isaac Tago for the Panthers. Jordan Rapana, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, TC Rabuddy for the Broncos. Morning, William. Jazz Tavega, parallel for Warriors. High Performance, Jaden Brayley for the Knights. Nick Kotrick, parallel for Bulldogs. Not the predictor you're after, Matt. Who are we? Robert Kelly with the Roosters. Number 128. Luke Thompson, parallel for Bulldogs. So we seem to be getting at least one predictor out of the starter cases, out of the two. Jack Hetherington, season to remember for the Bulldogs. Josh Papali, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Jason Saab for Manly. Stefano Utikamanu, parallel for Tigers. Latrell Mitchell, parallel for Rabbitohs. Nathan, you have 2 Raiders and Rabbitohs. This was a 16 spot random team. Season to remember, Brian To'o for Panthers. Roosters parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Edward Cossey for the Warriors. Kevin Proctor, parallel for Titans. Jake Avarillo, parallel for the Bulldogs. No worries, mate. Too easy. Especially when I'm organised and have the team list up. I didn't see the Sharks one. I did watch most of the Broncos. And yeah, not happy. The Broncos parallel checklist. I'm 1 for 3 games now. Broncos actually surprised me.
They played well.
Yeah, they played well. Proved that they're not going to be relying on Adam Reynolds, which was a big thing. Rising Stars, Zach Sini. Yep, thank you. For the Tigers, Damien Cook, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs might be in a bit of trouble. Josh Schuster, Rising Stars for Manly. I'm not sure who the game told more about, Broncos or Rabbitohs. Joey Manu, parallel for Roosters. High performance, Matt Burton for the Panthers. Panthers parallel checklist. To be honest, I'm actually keen to watch the Doggies play. I want to see what Addo brings to the team. He's a big personality within the team dynamics. If he's fired up, I dare say most of the team will be fired up. Master and Apprentice, Black, Jerome Hughes for the Storm. Ben Hunt, parallel for Dragons. Hammer Fido, parallel for the Cowboys. Yeah, well, he definitely proved his worth, that's for sure. Morning, David. Team high performance for the Eels. Mitchell Pearce, parallel for the Knights. I marked those spots off for you, David. Thanks for that, mate. So we're only 10 spots left now in the Raz, guys. And that's for the last spot. in break 147. Aaron Shoup, Rising Stars for Bulldogs. Herbie Farnworth, parallel for Broncos. I actually haven't checked the website to see what spots are left in 148. I might need to update that on the website, but you can always grab a spot on Facebook if there are none available. Master and Apprentice, Hammer Fido for the Cowboys. Burton's awesome kicking game and Fox on the wing is going to be something special, yeah. Jesse Ramian, parallel for Sharks. I dare say that's something they've been working on with him being there now. He's using that kicking game paired up with Adakar. Isaiah Yo, parallel for Panthers. No Shaq Mitchell in last night's game, I noticed. Well, I didn't notice him anyway. I might have missed him. High performance, Damien Cook for the Rabbits. Zach Lomax, parallel for the Dragons. Cowboys parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Elam Lukey for the Cowboys. Alex Twal, parallel for Tigers. No, I think he's still a development player, not sure what's going on. Yeah, I wasn't sure because he played a couple of the trials, so. Season to remember, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Reece Robson, parallel for the Cowboys. I just know he's a tank, and if he can get a bit of speed going, he's going to be hard to stop. Big Shaq for the Rabbits. I found it funny that Latrell was out first round. Kalen Ponga, parallel for Knights. But if the first few games, or first couple of games, are anything to go by, I think we're going to be in for a good year. Taylor May, Rising Stars for Panthers. Dragons parallel checklist. Teague Wilton, Rising Stars for Sharks. Kenneth Bromwich, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Josh Curran for the Warriors. Jason Saab, parallel for Manly. Joseph Suwali, Rising Stars for Roosters. Ryan Pappenhausen, parallel for Storm. Jerome Hughes, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Hayes Dunster for the Eels. Brad Parker, parallel for Manly. Season to remember, Alex Glenn for the Broncos. Knights parallel checklist. Our heroes, Harry Grant for the Storm. Just going to move them over there. They should just then come on camera, I think. Corey Thompson, parallel for the Titans. Not that it really matters, but they don't hurt anything being there. Rising Stars, Davey Mole for the Rabbits. Cameron Murray, parallel for the Rabbits. Dad, when you get a chance, can I get a couple of empty boxes, please?
You want to clean them up and put them somewhere? What do you want to?
Yes, please. High Performance, David Nofaluma for the Tigers. Josh Schuster, parallel for Manly. High Performance, Bo Formore, Master Apprentice, sorry, for the Titans. Where did I get High Performance from? James Tarmo, parallel for Tigers. Not enough coffee this morning.
You drink it.
Yeah. I don't jump straight into yours, they're normally too hot. High Performance, Daniel Tupu for the Roosters. Jason Taumalolo, parallel for Cowboys. Rising Stars, Trent LaRoe for the Storm. Matt Moylan, parallel for Sharks. Jake Clifford, parallel for Knights. The Fox, High Performance for the Storm. Jack Whiten, parallel for Raiders. Power Heroes, Alexander Brimson for the Titans. Brian Toto, parallel for Panthers. Thomas Flegler, parallel for Broncos. Season to remember, Addo Carr for Storm. Clint Gutherson, parallel for Eels. Rising Stars, Sam Walker for the Roosters. Cody Ramsey, parallel for Dragons. Rising Stars, Jermaine Hopgood for the Panthers. Dane Laurie, parallel for Tigers. David Nofaluma, season to remember for the Tigers. Luciano Leilua, parallel for Tigers. Tigers has got plenty out of this mini starter case. Loaded. Dean Irema, Rising Stars for the Storm. Ryan Madison, parallel for the Eels. Just paid for those 5 spots. Awesome. Cheers, David. Toby Sexton, Rising Stars for Titans. Sione Katoa, parallel for Sharks. High performance, Wade Glenn for the Warriors. James Tedesco, parallel for the Roosters. Club hero, William Kennedy for the Sharks. Mitchell Moses, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Jake Simkin for the Tigers. And Warriors parallel checklist. Alright. Let me just move this around. Alright, let's do it. Green, Master and Apprentice, Hamoli Olakotor for Manly. Number 13. Another green for Manly, Jake Trbojevic. Got the pair, first two, nice work. Number 44 for Robert Kelly, taking home the pair of greens. Cody Walker, red, Master and Apprentice, 194 for the Rabbits. Another red, 91, Joseph Suwali for the Roosters. James Tarmo, red, 135 for the Tigers. Blue, number 4, nice slow one. Cooper Johns for the Storm. Scott Crimo. For the Titans, number 35, blue, Kevin Proctor. For the Eels, number 18, Jake Arthur, red. Another red for Manly, Jake Trbojevic, number 36. We have a green, number 27, Mitchell Pearce for the Knights. Blue, oh, real low number, number 2, Stefano Utokumanu for the Tigers. Tigers, it's not showing up on my thing. What happened to the Tigers? I've lost the Tigers. I don't know who the Tigers are. Well, that's a bit of a... Who's got Tigers? Sorry guys, give me a moment. Where are we? 145. Tigers, Dylan Cameron. Let me just add that to my list so I don't forget. Alright, there we go. So yeah, blue number 2, Stefano Utokumanu for the Tigers. Dylan Cameron. Let me bring my chats back up now. There we go. Sorry Dylan, missed you out. Oh, another nice low one. For green, Corey Oates for the Broncos. Number 2. We've got, this is our 6th last starter pack, guys. Another green for the Knights, Phoenix Crossland, number 55. Red, number 19, Phoenix Crossland for the Knights. For the Raiders, red, number 113, Josh Papali. $152, red for the Sharks, William Kennedy. Green, number 36, for the Dragons, Jaden Sullivan. And last but not least, well, we always hope it's not least, another Manly, red this time, number 60, Jake Javoyevich. So Manly doing alright in the hobbies. Alright, let's get these packets open and then we'll get stuck into the case. Rising Stars, Joseph Suwali for the Roosters. Kyle Felt, parallel for Cowboys. High Performance, Wade Egan for the Warriors. Joseph Tapine, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Jake Simpkin for the Tigers. Corey Allen, parallel for Bulldogs. Master and Apprentice, Isaiah Yeo for Panthers. I think that was a, nah, just a normal. Rabbitohs parallel checklist. Team High Performance for the Doggies. Joseph Suwali, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, Tyrell Sloan for the Dragons. Nathan Cleary, parallel for Panthers. Ooh, nice card to hit in the starters. Adam Dewey for the Tigers, the creator. Dylan Cameron, number 16. Ewan Aiken, parallel for Warriors. Kieran Foran, parallel for Manly. High Performance, Tommy Turbo for Manly. Tessie New, parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Lachlan Elias for the Rabbits. Keon Kolomatangi, parallel for the Rabbits. Season to Remember, Sam Williams for the Raiders. Bulldogs parallel checklist. Season to Remember, William Kennedy for the Sharks. Payne Huss, parallel for Broncos. Season to Remember, Jesse Bromwich for the Storm. Mitchell Barnett, parallel for Knights. Nelson Asafa Solomona, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Isaac Tago for Panthers. Tom Dearden, parallel for Cowboys. Rising Stars, Wiramu Grigg for the Eels. There it goes. Josh Jackson, parallel for the Bulldogs. Dejan Assi, Rising Stars for Cowboys. Tommy Talau, parallel for Tigers. Season to Remember, Xavier Coates for Broncos. Rabbitohs parallel checklist. David Nofaluma, High Performance for the Tigers. Jaden Brayley, parallel for Knights. Power Heroes, Tony Staggs for the Broncos. Jesse Bromwich, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Jason Saab for Manly. Jordan Ricky, parallel for Broncos. Club hero, Andrew McCulloch for the Dragons. Sharks parallel checklist. Darren Watine Zalesniak, parallel for Warriors. Master and Apprentice, Matt Moylan for the Sharks. Tarek Sims, parallel for Dragons. Master and Apprentice, Jaden Sullivan for the Dragons, and that's a black. Chance Nico Klokstad, parallel for Raiders. Parramatta Eels, parallel checklist. High performance, Jaden Brayley for the Knights. Aaron Clark, parallel for Titans. Master and Apprentice, Herbie Farnworth for the Broncos, and that's a black. Luke Brooks, parallel for Tigers. Kieran Foran, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Matthew Tomoko for the Raiders. Aaron Clark, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Kobe Hetherington for Broncos. Joseph Tapine, parallel for Raiders. So did you tip the Broncos last night?
No.
No?
But they won. I'll take the loss. I don't care. Go to Bronx. Hey, go boys. What's that?
Season to remember, Hammer Feddo for the Cowboys. Blake Laurie, parallel for Dragons. Well, as you can see, Mum's happy.
Yep.
Not a true supporter, she didn't tip him though. Rising Stars, Matt Croker for the Knights. Scott Drinkwater, parallel for Cowboys. Where's the support? Where's the love?
There's always love and support because they don't think they're going to win. Two different things.
Dylan Brown, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Ben Trbojevic for Manly. Blake Brayley, parallel for Sharks. Luke Brooks, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Bailey Biondi Otto for the Bulldogs. Stephen Crichton, parallel for Panthers. Power Heroes, Nick Kotrick for the Bulldogs. Eliza Katoa, parallel for Warriors. Rising Stars, Toby Sexton for Titans. Stephen Crichton, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, TC Rabuddy for Broncos. Josh Jackson, parallel for Bulldogs. Season to remember, Brett Morris for the Roosters. Ryan Sutton, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Helam Lukey for the Cowboys. Payne Huss, parallel for Broncos. Season to remember, Adam Reynolds for the Rabbits. Blake Brayley, parallel for the Sharks. Power Hero, Jai Arrow for the Rabbitohs. Renato Mulitalo, parallel for the Sharks. High Performance, David Fafita for the Titans. Bradman Best, parallel for Knights. Team, or not team, but Master and Apprentice, Josh Papali for the Raiders. I call them team because they're in the same colours. Alexander Brimson, parallel for Titans. I actually like most of the normal Master and Apprentice with the colours in them. I think they look good. High Performance, Micah Sivo for the Eels. Ryan Sutton, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Egan Butcher for the Roosters. Amoli Olakatu, parallel for Manly. Season to remember, Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Eliza Katoa, parallel for Warriors. High Performance, William Kennedy and Connor Tracy for the Sharks. Eels parallel checklist. We've only got 4 more packets and then we can get into the case. Sam Walker, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, Valami Vile for the Warriors. Jai Arrow, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Kobe Hetherington, Club Heroes for the Broncos. Corey Allen, parallel for Bulldogs. Power Heroes, Junior Paulo for the Eels, and Felice Kafusi, parallel for Storm. And that's the end of our starter packs. So we'll get these base cards cleaned up. And we'll get stuck straight into the case. Find out who our lucky case card, who's taking home the case card today. Or being sent the case card, I should say. Alright. What are we? Player of the year, number 14 for the Knights, Jacob Saifiti. So that is, where are we? Ben Salmon. Congratulations, mate. I think I'm just going to leave them in there for now. Once we get to the bottom row, I might take them out. Takes me 5 minutes just to get them all out. So we'll just grab them out as we need them. Unless it gets in my way.
I'll just finish this album because there's someone coming and I'll come back.
All good. It's not that big of a deal. I normally take the 5 for a few minutes and take them out. Sort of try something different. Master and Apprentice, normal for the Panthers. Isaac Tago. Yeah, Panthers is one that really doesn't look much different to the black, to be honest. Victor Radley, parallel for the Roosters. I noticed, which one was it? Might have been Tigers I was looking at comparing them. And I had one normal, one black, and you could sort of see a tinge difference. And then I got another normal, and the tinge wasn't even in it. It was just like a black. It was weird. TC Rabuddy. Rising Stars for Broncos. James Fisher-Harris for the Panthers. Season to remember. Brett Morris for the Roosters. Jordan Ricky, parallel for Broncos. Parallel, Sharks checklist. Rising Stars, Aaron Shoup for the Bulldogs. Adam Dewey, parallel for Tigers. Master and Apprentice, Hammer Fido for the Cowboys. Nathan Brown, parallel for the Eels. Oh, did a new bag.
Yeah, but because the starter pack's in there, it fills the bin up. This bag's got heaps more room, but it's too wide.
All good. Rising Stars, Helam Lukey for the Cowboys. Mikhail Ravalawa for the Dragons. Season to remember, Adam Reynolds for the Rabbitohs. Kyle Felt, parallel for Cowboys. Master and Apprentice, Cooper Johns for the Storm, and that's a black. Jaden Brayley, parallel for Knights. So blacks are 1 per box, I believe, and the standards are 2 per box, if I've read my ratios right. Jesse Bromwich, parallel for Storm. I feel like we get more than that, but I could be wrong. Season to remember, Reid Marnie for the Eels. Josh Kerr, parallel for Sharks. Hey Mark, how's it going, mate? Welcome to the break. High performance, Alex Twal for the Tigers. Damien Cook, parallel for Rabbitohs. Oh. Rising Stars, Toby Sexton for the Titans. Regan Campbell-Gillard, parallel for the Eels. James Tarmo, parallel for Tigers. James Tedesco, Power Heroes for Roosters. Matt Moylan, parallel for the Sharks. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, high performance for Warriors. Broncos parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Jake Simpkin for the Tigers. Malami Kickow, parallel for Panthers. Season to remember, and Jared Croker for the Raiders. Jared Guerrero-Hargraves, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, Dean Iremia for Storm. Jake Granville, parallel for Cowboys. Thomas Burgess, high performance for the Rabbitohs. Jake Clifford, parallel for Knights. We've got a white authentic series. Reece Robson for the Cowboys, number 110. Justin Olam, parallel for the Storm. I was trying not to say anything.
Oh, well, it's
Yeah. Team high performance for the Eels. Manly parallel checklist. Yeah, I start sweating and feeling sticky and icky and Teague Wilton, Rising Stars for the Sharks. David Fafita, parallel for Titans. Season to remember, Zach Lomax for the Dragons. Thomas Burgess, parallel for Rabbits. Can I have NRL cards? Yeah, they're available on the website. Follow the link in the video description. Rising Stars, Edward Cossey for the Warriors. Jeremy Marshall King, parallel for Bulldogs. Elliot Whitehead, parallel for Raiders. We've got breaks listed in the Facebook group. Combo deals and boxes and albums and everything are listed on the website. Just depends on what you're after. David Clemmer, high performance for the Knights. Josh Curran, parallel for Warriors. I'm not sure if Mum's had a chance to actually have any of the individual cards for 22 traders listed on the website yet. They're all ready to go, just waiting for pictures. Cody Nicarima, parallel for Warriors. You're doing them today? There you go. So that'll be mainly for the lower end inserts anyway, guys. Higher end inserts will come once we have a chance to open a bit more. Rising Stars, Davy Mole for the Rabbits. Jack Whiten, parallel for Raiders. Power Heroes, Dallin Watine Zalesniak for the Warriors. Jake Avarillo, parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Jason Saab for Manly. Cody Ramsey, parallel for Dragons. Luke Metcalf, Club Heroes for the Sharks. Jason Tormalolo, parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Taylor May for Panthers. Tyson Frizzell, parallel for Knights. Season to remember, Ryan Pappenhausen for Storm. Storm parallel checklist. Thank you. Rising Stars, Joseph Suwali for the Roosters. Mawaki Fotowaika, parallel for Titans. And last but not least for our first box, well, one of our least, Daly Cherry Evans, parallel for Manly. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yes, please. Rising Stars, Valami Vile for the Warriors. Charles Nicole Klokstad, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Matt Croker for the Knights. Christian Welsh, parallel for Storm. High performance, Milwaukee Fodawaka for the Titans. Tom Trbojevic, parallel for Manly. Power Heroes header B, so header number 2. Jared Wallace, parallel for Titans. Season to remember, Sam Williams for the Raiders. Chanel Harris Tavita, parallel for the Warriors. Master Apprentice, Black, Amali Olakor-Atu for Manly. Angus Crichton, parallel for Roosters. Retirement, Josh Morris for the Roosters. Cody Walker, parallel for the Rabbits. Rising Stars, Matthew Tomoko for the Raiders. Corey Waddell, parallel for Bulldogs. Season to remember, Xavier Coates for Broncos. Emery Gula, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Rumi Grieg for Eels. Tohu Harris, parallel for Warriors. Liam Martin, parallel for Panthers. High performance, Clint Gutherson for the Eels. Daniel Tupou, parallel for Roosters. Graham Luai, parallel for Panthers. Team high performance for the Raiders. Katoni Staggs, parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Tyrell Sloan for the Dragons. Thank you, Mushley. William Kennedy, parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember, William Kennedy for the Sharks. David Nofaluma, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Ben Trbojevic for Manly. Junior Paulo, parallel for the Eels. Jack Bird, parallel for Dragons. High performance, William Kennedy for the Sharks. Valentine Holmes, parallel for Cowboys. Club Heroes, Brodie Jones for the Knights. Darren Watine Zalesniak, parallel for Warriors. Rising Stars, Kobe Hetherington for the Broncos. Satili Tupanua, parallel for Roosters. Season to remember, Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Apposite Coruscant, parallel for Panthers. So don't forget, guys, we do put photos of all the hits in the Facebook group for the post, for the break post, I should say. Jake Turpin, parallel for Broncos. They're normally uploaded after the second break, once I get all the photos done. So I do take the photos in between the breaks, but I don't upload them till afterwards. Titans parallel checklist. I think I might have confused DK last night. Rising Stars, Bailey Biondi Otto for the Bulldogs. Sia Sifa Talakai for the Sharks. High Performance, Ruben Garrick for Manly. Tigers parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Egan Butcher for the Roosters. Tavita Totola, parallel for the Rabbits. Unless it's numbered, if there's a double, I do stack them on top of each other. So if you think you got two in the break but can only see one, then there's a good chance you probably got two. You just can't see it because it's hiding. Brian Toto, Power Heroes for Panthers. Micah Sivo, parallel for the Eels. The lower end inserts like Season to Remember. The Rising Stars. And the High Performance, yeah, they all get stacked on top of each other. Rising Stars, DJ and Assi for the Cowboys. Otherwise, I'd end up with massive pictures. Andrew McCulloch, parallel for Dragons. And Take Me Forever. I'm not going to guarantee it, but pretty much with these style breaks, with those ones, you should get most of the lower inserts for your team. Shouldn't really be missing much. Cohen Hess, parallel for Cowboys. Some things would be doubles and triples. Plenty of trade. Corey Oates, Master and Apprentice for Broncos. Jack Hetherington, parallel for Bulldogs. 5 packets left in box number 2. Rising Stars, Lachlan Elias for the Rabbits. Raiders parallel checklist. Season to Remember, Hammer Fido for the Cowboys. Jacob Saifidi, parallel for Knights. Rising Stars, Isaac Tago for Panthers. Harry Grant, parallel for Storm. Season to Remember, Jesse Bromwich for the Storm. Jake Trebojevic, parallel for Manly. And last but not least, Master and Apprentice, Matt Dory for the Bulldogs. Daniel Saifiti, parallel for the Knights. So them boxes there at the styler, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I just got to cut them down and just
I don't know if they want them cut down.
Oh, okay,
You better bring the game there.
I was just going to put the little ones inside the big ones and take them like that.
They've got to store them at school as well, they'll be their own boxes.
We can do
I'll
that.
have them cut down. There's no way they'll be able to store them up.
Alright then, sounds good. Rising Stars, Jara Momoisi for the Knights. Lachlan Croker, parallel for Manly. Club Heroes, Josh Schuster for Manly. Big Tino for Titans. I'm not even going to try and say it. Bradman Best, parallel for Knights. Rising Stars, Trent Loiro for the Storm. Mitchell Barnett, parallel for the Knights. Xavier Savage, Rising Stars for Raiders. Jai Arrow, parallel for Rabbits. Season to Remember, Daniel Saifiti for the Knights. Corey Allen, parallel for Bulldogs. Retirement, Russell Packer for the Tigers. And Joseph Tapine, parallel for the Raiders. Master and Apprentice, Bo Formore for the Titans. Nelson Asafa Solomona, parallel for Storm. Yeah, I don't like them there. It's uncomfortable. Rising Stars, Hayes Dunster for the Eels. Elias Katoa, parallel for Warriors. High Performance, Jack Bird for the Dragons. Sam Walker, parallel for the Roosters. Power Hero, Jai Arrow for the Rabbits. Stephen Crichton, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Jaden Sullivan for the Dragons. Tessie New, parallel for Broncos. Renato Mulitalo, parallel for Sharks. Rising Stars, Luke Metcalf for the Sharks. Hamali Akatu, parallel for Manly. Season to remember, Daly Cherry Evans for Manly. Tommy Talau, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Josh Schuster for Manly. Dylan Brown, parallel for Eels. High Performance, Brian To'o for Panthers. Blake Laurie, parallel for Dragons. Power Heroes, Junior Paulo for the Eels. Scott Drinkwater, parallel for Cowboys. Season to remember, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck for the Warriors. Alexander Brimson, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Jermaine Hopgood for Panthers. Felice Kafusi, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Dave Fafita for the Titans. Kieran Foran, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Sam Walker for the Roosters. Aaron Clark, parallel for Titans. Master and Apprentice, Josh Papali for the Raiders. Keon Kolomatangi, parallel for the Rabbits. High Performance, Daniel Tupou for the Roosters. Daniel Tupou, the Rabbitohs parallel checklist. Josh Jackson, parallel for Bulldogs. Team High Performance for Manly. Ryan Sutton, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Blake Taff for the Rabbits. Oh, Ewan Aiken, parallel for Warriors. Season to remember, Jake Avarillo for the Bulldogs. Joseph Suwali, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, Zach Cheney for the Tigers. Nathan Cleary, parallel for Panthers. Zach Cheney, I think that's how it is. Zach Cheney, I don't know. Bulldogs parallel checklist. Payne Huss, parallel for Broncos. I get paranoid when we have too many parallels in a row. Feel like I've missed something. No, we're good. We're good. Good. High performance, Justin Olam for the Storm. Blake Brayley, parallel for the Sharks. Master and Apprentice, Cooper Johns for the Storm. Luke Brooks, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Greg Marshue for the Titans. Yields parallel checklist. Season to remember, Luke Brooks for the Tigers. Tarek Sims, parallel for Dragons. Tom Dearden, parallel for Cowboys. And that's the end of box number 3. Let's get these away, cleaned up. That's pretty good. Nothing more. Beautiful. So we do have our Priority and Elite Hobby Box hiding off to the side there, guys. I did forget it in the very first break, but we're on top of that now. I'm not actually sure how many more breaks. Haven't start the mini starters in it. This may be the last one actually. I'd have to double check that. I know we're getting close. The combos sold really quick through the website, so they took a lot of the starter packs. Rising Stars, Vailami Vaile for the Warriors. Ryan Sutton, parallel for Raiders. Power Heroes, Josh Papali for the Raiders. Alexander Brimson, parallel for the Titans. Master Apprentice, Jaden Sullivan for the Dragons. That's a black. Daniel Tupu, parallel for Roosters. Keon Kolomatangi, parallel for Rabbitohs. Season to remember, Jaden Ockenbaugh for the Bulldogs. Tohu Harris, parallel for Warriors. Rising Stars, Matthew Tomoko for the Raiders. Bulldogs parallel checklist. Season to remember, Mitchell Pearce for the Knights. Charles Nicole Klokstad, parallel for Raiders. Wiremu Grieg, Rising Stars for Eels. Dan Watine Zalesniak, parallel for the Warriors. High Performance, Reid Marnie for the Eels. Saitili Tupanua, parallel for the Roosters. Apisai Coruscant, parallel for Panthers. Jerome Luai, parallel for Panthers. High Performance for the Bulldogs. Jake Turpin, parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Tyrell Sloan for the Dragons. Co Sifa Talakai, parallel for Sharks. Season to Remember, Tommy Turbo for Manly. Tigers Parallel Checklist. Rising Stars, Ben Travojevic for Manly. Micah Sivo, parallel for Eels. And we have a black authentic series for the Broncos. Tyson Gamble, number 9. Andrew McCulloch, parallel for Dragons. High Performance, Blake Brayley for the Sharks. Cohen Hess, parallel for Cowboys. Matt Moylan, Master Apprentice for Sharks. Jacob Saifidi, parallel for Knights. Rising Stars, Isaac Tago for the Panthers. Christian Welsh, parallel for Storm. Club Heroes, Kobe Hetherington for Broncos. Ewan Aiken, parallel for Warriors. Kobe Hetherington, Rising Stars for Broncos. Joseph Suwali, parallel for Roosters. Jared Wallace, parallel for Titans. Season to Remember, Joseph Suwali for the Roosters. Nathan Cleary, parallel for Panthers. Payne Haas, parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Bailey Biondi Otto for the Bulldogs. Blake Brayley for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Egan Butcher for the Roosters. Cody Walker, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Master and Apprentice and Josh Papali for the Raiders. Corey Waddell, parallel for Bulldogs. High Performance, Lachlan Croker for Manly. Luke Brooks, parallel for Tigers. Power Heroes, header number 1. Eels, parallel checklist. What we got? Rising Stars, Dejan Assi for the Cowboys. Tarek Sims, parallel for Dragons. Tommy Dearden, parallel for Cowboys. Rising Stars, Lachlan Elias for the Rabbits. Emery Gula, parallel for Raiders. Season to Remember, Thomas Burgess for the Rabbits. Mitchell Barnett, parallel for the Knights. Rising Stars, Matt Croker for the Knights. Nelson Asafa Solomona, parallel for Storm. Second last packet for this box, guys. Can't remember what box we're up to now. 5, 8 boxes. This is box number 4. High Performance, Mitch Rain for the Titans. Hamoli Olakatu, parallel for Manly. Season to Remember, Alexander Brimson for the Titans. Tommy Turbo, parallel for Manly. Get that one out of the way. So box number 5. I feel like we're making good time this one. Time will tell. Season to Remember, Wade Graham for the Sharks. Wade Graham parallel for the Sharks. High Performance, Payne Huss for Broncos. Jordan Rapana, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Murray Talagi for the Cowboys. Hammer Fido, parallel for Cowboys. Rising Stars, Jaden Campbell for Titans. Luciano Leilua, parallel for Tigers. Brad Parker, parallel for Manly. Foil Sig, Bailey Simonson for the Raiders, number 84. Parallel, Kevin Proctor for the Titans. Rising Stars, Tuki Mea Simpkins for the Tigers. Thomas Flegler, parallel for Broncos. Club Hero, Dane Laurie for the Tigers. Sione Katoa, parallel for Sharks. Season to remember, Ewan Aiken for the Warriors. Latrell Mitchell, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Power Heroes, Tommy Talau for the Tigers. Jose Tavega, parallel for Warriors. Rising Stars, Rocco Berry for the Warriors. Nick Kotrick, parallel for Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Keenan Palacia for Broncos. Isaiah Yeo, parallel for Panthers. Season to remember, Albert Kelly for the Broncos. Hudson Young, parallel for Raiders. Master and Apprentice, Josh Curran for the Warriors. Campbell Graham, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, fella Kiku Manu for the Bulldogs. Jesse Ramian, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Will Penasini for the Eels. Joey Manu, parallel for the Roosters. Season to remember, Adam Dewey for the Tigers. Ryan Madison, parallel for the Eels. Season to remember, Matt Burton for Panthers. Herbie Farnworth, parallel for Broncos. Master and Apprentice, Matt Moylan for the Sharks. Dane Laurie, parallel for Tigers. Clint Gufferson, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Talator Amon the Dragons, Patrick Carrigan, parallel for the Broncos. Season to remember, Valentine Holmes for the Cowboys. Knights parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Dominic Young for the Knights. Jerome Hughes, parallel for Storm. High Performance, Jordan Rapiner for the Raiders. Brian Kelly, parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars, Harley Smith Shields for the Raiders. Joe Stimson, parallel for Bulldogs. Adam Fanua Blake, parallel for Warriors. Master Apprentice, Jaden Sullivan for the Dragons. Panthers parallel checklist. High Performance, Will Hopewade for the Bulldogs. Alex Twal, parallel for Tigers. Reid Marnie, parallel for Eels. Zach Lomax, parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Franklin Pele for the Sharks. Jason Saab, parallel for Manly. High Performance, Valentine Holmes for Cowboys. Mitchell Pearce, parallel for Knights. Rising Stars, Tyson Smoothie for Storm. Cowboys parallel checklist. Power Heroes, Ben Hunt for the Dragons. Kenneth Bromwich, parallel for Storm. Team High Performance for the Roosters. Ben Hunt, parallel for the Dragons. And last but not least, for the box, Roosters parallel checklist. Might have to stop saying last but not least, it keeps letting me down. Alright. Box number 6 from the case. Alright, let's go. Hey Ben, how's it going, buddy? Rising Stars, Halem Lukey for the Cowboys. Josh Kerr, parallel for Dragons. Rising Stars, Jason Saab for Manly. Ben Hunt, parallel for Dragons. Season to Remember, Brian To'o for Panthers. Broncos parallel checklist. Club Hero, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Hammer Fido, parallel for Cowboys. Dane Laurie, parallel for Tigers. Elijah Katoa, parallel, no. No worry about that one, scratch that one. Rising Stars, Taylor May for Panthers. Knights parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Toby Sexton for Titans. Clint Gufferson, parallel for the Eels. Season to Remember, David Nofaluma for the Tigers. Cody Ramsey, parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Dean Oremia for the Storm. Jason Taumalolo, parallel for the Cowboys. Season to Remember, Murray Talagi for the Cowboys. Jake Granville, parallel for the Cowboys. High Performance, Damien Cook for Rabbitohs. Tyson Frizzell, parallel for Knights. Storm, parallel checklist. Team High Performance for the Panthers. Daly Cherry Evans, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Tig Wilton for the Sharks. Mawaki Fodawaika, parallel for Titans. Master Apprentice, Blake Taff for the Rabbitohs. Jake Clifford, parallel for Knights. Justin Olam, parallel for Storm. Season to Remember, Josh Curran for the Warriors. Damien Cook, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Edward Cossey for the Warriors. Jake Avarillo, parallel for the Bulldogs. Jack Whiten, parallel for Raiders. High Performance, Jaden Brayley for the Knights. Cody Nicarima, parallel for Warriors. Master and Apprentice, Cody Walker for the Rabbits. Jared Riera Hargraves, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, TC Rabuddy for Broncos. Palami Kickow, parallel for Panthers. Season to Remember, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Jerome Hughes, parallel for Storm. Brad Parker, parallel for Manly. Matt Moylan, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Joseph Suwali for the Roosters. Brian Kelly, parallel for Titans. High Performance, David Nofaluma for the Tigers. Campbell Graham, parallel for Rabbitohs. Power Heroes, Harry Grant for Storm. Joe Stimson, parallel for Bulldogs. Master and Apprentice, Mitchell Moses for the Eels. Regan Campbell Gillard, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Davey Mole for the Rabbitohs. Hudson Young, parallel for Raiders. There you go, guys. Double up. Premiership predictor for the Roosters. I just had to double check then. I thought we got one in the starter packs. Robert Kelly. 194 for this one. Adam Fanua Blake, parallel for the Warriors. Season to Remember, Jack Hetherington for the Bulldogs. Joey Manu, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, Jake Simpkin for the Tigers. Panthers parallel checklist. Third last packet for box number 6. High Performance, Wade Egan for the Warriors. Patrick Carrigan, parallel for Broncos. Power Hero, Alexander Brimson for the Titans. Wade Graham, parallel for Sharks. Rising Stars, Aaron Shoup for Bulldogs. James Tarmo, parallel for Tigers. And that finishes off box number 6. So we're definitely past the halfway mark, guys. Alright. Alright, let's go, let's go. Tessie New, parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Bailey Biondi Otto for the Bulldogs. Ronaldo Mulatalo, parallel for the Sharks. Rabbitohs parallel checklist. High Performance, Tommy Turbo for Manly. Tommy Talau, parallel for Tigers. Power Heroes, Jai Arrow for the Rabbitohs. Dylan Brown, parallel for the Eels. Power Heroes, Junior Paulo for the Eels. Aaron Clark, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Dejan Assi for the Cowboys. Oh, damn. Blake Laurie, parallel for the Dragons. Hammer Fido, season to remember for the Cowboys. Bradman Best, parallel for Knights. Rising Stars, Matt Croker for the Knights. Felice Kafusi, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Xavier Coates for the Broncos. Ryan Sutton, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Matthew Tomoko for the Raiders. Josh Jackson, parallel for Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Rumi Grieg for the Eels. Ewan Aiken, parallel for Warriors. High Performance, Micah Sivo for the Eels. Joseph Suwali, parallel for Roosters. Thought it was Joey Mano at first. High Performance, David Fafita for the Titans. Kieran Foran, parallel for Manly. Scott Crimo. Number 82 for the Storm, Jerome Hughes, the creator. So what's total try assists 19? So is that what the creator is? Try assists, creating tries. I'm not actually sure. I haven't read the other ones. But nice looking card. Nathan Cleary, parallel for Panthers. I thought you were whistling at me, trying to get me a team. It's okay. Team high performance for the Broncos. Payne Huss, parallel for the Broncos. You're doing albums, lucky you. You can have that job. Rising Stars, Tyrell Sloan for the Dragons. Blake Brayley, parallel for the Sharks. Yeah, we all have our preferred roles. William Kennedy, season to remember for the Sharks. Luke Brooks, parallel for Tigers. I don't mind opening and sorting, and he doesn't mind doing albums. I hate albums. Scott Drinkwater, parallel for Cowboys. Rising Stars, Ben Travojevic for Manly. Eels parallel checklist. Tarek Sims, parallel for the Dragons. High performance, William Kennedy, Connor Tracy for the Sharks. Tom Dearden, parallel for the Cowboys. Master and Apprentice, Josh Jackson for the Bulldogs. Mitchell Barnett, parallel for Knights. Rising Stars, Kobe Hetherington for Broncos. Sam Walker, parallel for Roosters. I like sorting out the sets we give them to the local footy club. Yeah, we normally give a lot to different clubs. As most of you know, we were donating pallets to WA NRL cards for kids. Isaac Tago, Rising Stars for Panthers. Nelson Asafa Solomona, parallel for Storm. Unfortunately, NRL cards for kids had a few issues. Nothing done by themselves, it was just politics. Jesse Bromwich, season to remember for the Storm. Hamali Olakatu, parallel for Manly. Alexander Brimson, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Egan Butcher for the Roosters. Keon Kolomatangi, parallel for Rabbits. Club hero, Hylam Lukey for the Cowboys. Eliza Katoa, parallel for Warriors. Master and Apprentice, Herbie Farmworth for Broncos. Bulldogs parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Lachlan Elias for the Rabbits. Charles Nicole Klokstad, parallel for Raiders. Season to remember, Sam Williams for the Raiders. Dylan Martin Zalesniak, parallel for Warriors. They're almost through box number 7 for the case. Valami Vile, Rising Stars for Warriors. Joseph Tapine, parallel for Raiders. Season to remember, Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Stephen Crichton, parallel for Panthers. Master and Apprentice, Black. Phoenix Crossland for the Knights. Saitili Tupanua, parallel for Roosters. Quarter past 10, I'm surprised DK's not here already. Thought he would have been here nice and early. Apasai Coruscant, parallel for Panthers. He may be working. It's not just him, he gets hassled by his curls to find out what's in there. There we go. Alright, so box number 8. Knights, Jake Clifford. Rising Stars, Jermaine Hopgood for Panthers. Justin Olam, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, David Fafita for Titans. Manly parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Sam Walker for the Roosters. David Fafita, parallel for Titans. High Performance, Daniel Tupou for the Roosters. Thomas Burgess, parallel for the Rabbits. Season to remember, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck for the Warriors. Tino, Big Tino for the Titans. Do you have a question that I need to quickly answer, or
I don't know if you can quickly answer.
what's the
Where's the clipboard?
Where's the clipboard?
Control V? If it's in the clipboard, just hit paste.
Oh, that was a clipboard.
Yeah. Copy to the clipboard means that's the first thing there ready to paste. Hit Control V or right click and paste, and it should.
And then paste to it on that.
Yeah. Jeremy Marshall King, parallel for Bulldogs. There are different ways to view the clipboard, but if it's copied to the clipboard, all you have to do is hit paste, either Control V or right click and paste, and it will come up. Team High Performance for the Titans. Elliot Whitehead, parallel for Raiders. Rising Stars, Blake Taff for the Rabbits. Josh Curran, parallel for the Warriors. Season to remember, Jake Avarillo for the Bulldogs. Victor Radley, parallel for the Roosters. Black Master and Apprentice, Josh Jackson for the Bulldogs. Jai Arrow, parallel for Rabbits. Corey Allen, parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Zach Sini for the Tigers. James Fisher-Harris, parallel for Panthers. Oh, here we go. I reckon this is probably the one predictor that you want this year. Number 58 for Jason Seridlis. I believe this is his first break, at least it is with us. For the Eels. Number 58. Jordan Ricky, parallel for Broncos. So we've got two Roosters and an Eels predictor. High Performance, Addo Carr for the Storm. Sharks parallel checklist. Master Apprentice, Jerome Hughes for the Storm. Adam Dewey, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Greg Marsu for the Titans. Nathan Brown, parallel for the Eels. Season to remember, Luke Brooks for the Tigers. Mikhail Ravalawa, parallel for Dragons. Rising Stars, Jura Moimoisi for the Knights. Daly Cherry Evans, parallel for Manly. Club Hero, Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Mawaki Fotowaika, parallel for Titans. Kyle Felt, parallel for Cowboys. Xavier Savage, Rising Stars for the Raiders. Damien Cook, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Season to remember, Daniel Saifiti for the Knights. Jake Avarillo, parallel for the Bulldogs. Jack Whiten, parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Trent Leroux for the Storm. Jaden Brayley, parallel for Knights. Rising Stars, Hayes Dunster for the Eels. Cody Nikarima, parallel for Warriors. High Performance, Mikhail Ravalawa for the Dragons. Jared Riera-Hargreaves, parallel for the Roosters. Dylan Martin Zalesniak, Power Heroes for Warriors. Valami Kickout, parallel for Panthers. Master and Apprentice, Kevin Proctor for Titans. Jesse Bromwich, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Jaden Sullivan for Dragons. Broncos parallel checklist. Retirements, Jake Friend for the Roosters. Matt Moylan, parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember, Dally Cherry Evans for Manly. James Tarmo, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Josh Schuster for Manly. Regan Campbell-Gillard, parallel for Eels. 3 packets left. Box number 8. High Performance, Matt Burton for Panthers. Josh Kerr, parallel for Dragons. Power Heroes, James Tedesco for the Roosters. Jake Granville, parallel for Cowboys. Luke Metcalf, Rising Stars for the Sharks. And Lachlan Croker, parallel for Manly. Oh, excuse me. I don't know if that was a burp or a hiccup, somewhere in between. Beautiful. Alright, box number 9, let's go. Rising Stars, Josh Schuster for Manly. Nathan Brown, parallel for Eels. High Performance, Andrew McCulloch for the Dragons. Victor Radley, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, Zach Sini for the Tigers. Stephen Crichton, parallel for Panthers. Isaiah Yeo, high performance for Panthers. Mikal Ravalawa, parallel for Dragons. Rising Stars, Joa Moimoisi for the Knights. Manly parallel checklist. Club Heroes, Bailey Biondi Otto for the Bulldogs. David Fafita, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Xavier Savage for Raiders. Thomas Burgess, parallel for Rabbits. Power Heroes, Toby Rudolph for the Sharks. Kyle Felt, parallel for Cowboys. Foil Sig for the Dragons, Jack Bird, number 232. Jaden Brayley, parallel for Knights. Jermaine Hopgood, Rising Stars for Panthers. Jesse Bromwich, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Alex Glenn for Broncos. Jeremy Marshall King, parallel for Bulldogs. Season to remember, Addo Carr for the Storm. Lachlan Croker, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Sam Walker for the Roosters. Big Tino, parallel for the Titans. High Performance, Isaac Liu for the Roosters. Jai Arrow, parallel for Rabbitohs. Elliot Whitehead, parallel for the Raiders. Corey Allen, parallel for the Bulldogs. Team High Performance for the Storm. Joseph Tapine, parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Blake Taff for the Rabbitohs. Elias Katoa, parallel for Warriors. Season to remember, Jordan Rapana for the Raiders. Sam Walker, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Hayes Dunster for the Eels. Josh Curran, parallel for Warriors. Tessie New, parallel for Broncos. High Performance, Brendan Smith for the Storm. Ronaldo Mulitalo, parallel for Eels. Sharks, sorry guys. Master Apprentice, Mitchell Pearce for the Knights. Tommy Talau, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Greg Marshew for the Titans. Dylan Brown, parallel for the Eels. Power Heroes, Kieran Foran for Manly. James Fisher-Harris, parallel for Panthers. Yes, please. Jaden Sullivan, Rising Stars for the Dragons. Jordan Ricky, parallel for Broncos. Season to Remember, Isaiah Papali'i for the Eels. Blake Laurie, parallel for Dragons. Scott Drinkwater, parallel for Cowboys. Rising Stars, Trent Leroux for Storm. Bradman Best, parallel for Knights. Master Apprentice, Jake Trbojevic for Manly. Felice Kafusi, parallel for Storm. Luke Metcalf, Rising Stars for Sharks. Kieran Foran, parallel for Manly. Sharks parallel checklist. Season to Remember, Chad Townsend for the Sharks. Adam Dewey, parallel for Tigers. Season to Remember, Matt Duffy for Dragons. Aaron Clark, parallel for Titans. Master Apprentice, Black for the Tigers, James Tarmo. Rabbitohs parallel checklist. And last but not least, for box number 9. Yep, done it to me again. Josh Jackson, parallel for Bulldogs. Alright. So 3 boxes left for the case. And then we have our priority and our elite hobby. Rising Stars, Dominic Young for the Knights. Kenneth Bromwich, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Corey Norman for the Dragons. Cameron Murray, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Rocco Berry for the Warriors. Luke Thompson, parallel for Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Tuki Mea Simpkins for the Tigers. Tyson Gamble, parallel for Broncos. High Performance, Jake Turpin for Broncos. Josh Papali, parallel for Raiders. Power Heroes, Valentine Holmes for the Cowboys. Warriors parallel checklist. James Tedesco, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Keenan Palacia for the Broncos. Ryan To'o, parallel for Panthers. Ryan Pappenhausen, Club Hero for Storm. Toby Rudolph, parallel for Sharks. Season to remember, Sam Walker for the Roosters. Thomas Flegler, parallel for Broncos. Thank you. Rising Stars, Falakiku Manu for the Bulldogs. Sione Katoa, parallel for the Sharks. High Performance, Josh Jackson for the Bulldogs. Luciano Leilua, parallel for Tigers. Ryan Madison, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Stefano Utikamanu, parallel for Tigers. Season to remember, Blake Ferguson for the Eels. Mitchell Moses, parallel for the Eels. Team High Performance for the Warriors. Zach Lomax, parallel for Dragons. Rising Stars, Murray Talagi for Cowboys. Cowboys parallel checklist. Season to remember, Alex Johnston for the Rabbitohs. Mitchell Pearce, parallel for Knights. Reid Reed Marnie, parallel for Eels. Dragons parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Tyson Smoothie for Storm. Reese Robson, parallel for Cowboys. Jason Saab, parallel for Manly. High Performance, Josh Hodgson for the Raiders. Kevin Proctor, parallel for Titans. High Performance, Master Apprentice, sorry, for the Tigers. James Tarmo, Latrell Mitchell, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Harley Smith Shields for the Raiders. Nick Kotrick, parallel for Bulldogs. Season to remember, Jaden Brayley for the Knights. Jordan Rapiner, parallel for Raiders. High Performance, Reese Robson for the Cowboys. Kalen Ponga, parallel for Knights. Jazz Tavega, parallel for Warriors. Rising Stars, Will Penasini for the Eels. Roosters parallel checklist. Master Apprentice, Daniel Tupu for the Roosters. Isaiah Yeo, parallel for Panthers. Power Heroes, Daniel Saifiti for the Knights. Ryan Pappenhausen, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Franklin Pele for the Sharks. Josh Schuster, parallel for Manly. Got 4 packets left for box number 10 in the case. Retirements, Michael Morgan, for the Cowboys. Corey Thompson, parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars, Talator Amon for the Dragons. Herbie Farmworth, parallel for Broncos. Season to remember, Reuben Garrick for Manly. Jesse Ramian, parallel for Sharks. And last packet for box number 10. Master Apprentice, Valentine Holmes, black for the Cowboys. Alex Twile, parallel for Tigers. Alright. So still got 2 more boxes, guys, for the case, followed by the Priority and the Elite Hobby. Hi Mark, you come back, did you, mate? Katoni Stags, Power Heroes for Broncos. Harry Grant, parallel for Storm. Retirements, Will Hopewade for the Bulldogs. Titans parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Rocco Berry for the Warriors. Jack Hetherington, parallel for Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Falakiku Manu for the Bulldogs. Toby Rudolph, parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember, Ewan Aiken for the Warriors. Tavita Tatala, parallel for the Rabbitohs. High Performance, Xavier Coates for Broncos. Raiders parallel checklist. Power Heroes, Nick Kotrick for the Bulldogs. Chanel Harris Tavita, parallel for the Warriors. Angus Crichton, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, Keenan Palacia for the Broncos. Liam Martin, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Franklin Pele for the Sharks. Jake Trbojevic, parallel for Manly. Season to remember, Matt Burton for Panthers. Tyson Gamble, parallel for Broncos. High Performance, Nick Meaney for the Bulldogs. Stefano Utikamanu, parallel for Tigers. Mitchell Moses, parallel for Eels. Team High Performance for the Dragons. Dragons parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Tukimea Simpkins for the Tigers. Katoni Stags, parallel for Broncos. Marcelo Montoya, club hero for the Warriors. William Kennedy, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Murray Talagi for the Cowboys. Reece Robson, parallel for the Cowboys. Season to remember, Valentine Holmes for the Cowboys. Kalen Ponga, parallel for Knights. Rising Stars, Dominic Young for the Knights. Ryan Pappenhausen, parallel for Storm. Josh Schuster, parallel for Manly. High Performance, Jordan Rapiner for the Raiders. Corey Thompson, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. David Nofaluma, parallel for Tigers. Season to remember, Adam Dewey for the Tigers. Junior Paulo, parallel for Eels. Master Apprentice, Tohu Harris for the Warriors. Cameron Murray, parallel for Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Harley Smith Shields for the Raiders. Luke Thompson, parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to remember, Albert Kelly for the Broncos. Josh Papali, parallel for Raiders. Warriors parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Will Penasini for the Eels. James Tedesco, parallel for Roosters. Jack Bird, parallel for Dragons. Master and Apprentice, Ben Hunt for the Dragons. Brian Toto, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Talator Amon for the Dragons. Thomas Flegler, parallel for Broncos. Season to remember, Wade Graham for the Sharks. Sione Katoa, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Tyson Smoothie for Storm. Valentine Holmes, parallel for Cowboys. 3 packets left for this box. High Performance, Kyle Felt for the Cowboys. Daniel Saifiti, parallel for the Knights. Master Apprentice Black, Kevin Proctor for the Knights, Titans, sorry. Luciano Leilua, parallel for Tigers. Their new logo for the Titans, when I look at it, I just think Knights for some reason. Ryan Madison, parallel for Eels. And that's it for box number 11 out of the case. You can go down there. Alright, last box for the case, let's go. Retirements, Alex Glenn for the Broncos. Jazz Tavega, parallel for Warriors. Oh, yeah. Season to remember, Jared Croker for the Raiders. Roosters parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Jason Saab for the Manly. Zach Lomax parallel for Dragons. Rising Stars, Jake Simpkin for the Tigers. Isaiah Yeo, parallel for Panthers. High Performance, Reece Walsh for the Warriors. Herbie Farnworth, parallel for Broncos. Club Heroes, Andrew McCulloch for the Dragons. Cowboys parallel checklist. Power Hero, Tommy Talau for the Tigers. Jesse Ramian, parallel for the Sharks. Alex 12, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Toby Sexton for the Titans. Reed Marnie, parallel for the Eels. Season to remember, Reed Marnie for the Eels. Ben Hunt, parallel for Dragons. Rising Stars, Taylor May for Panthers. Mitchell Pearce, parallel for Knights. Rising Stars, Dino Rima for the Storm. Hamaso Fido, parallel for Cowboys. High Performance, Alex Johnston for the Rabbitohs. Knights parallel checklist. Jerome Hughes, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Ryan Pappenhausen for Storm. Kenneth Bromwich, parallel for Storm. Team High Performance for the Cowboys. Brad Parker, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Teague Wilton for the Sharks. Brian Kelly, parallel for Titans. Storm, parallel checklist. Season to remember, Zach Lomax for the Dragons. Campbell Graham, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Edward Cossey for the Warriors. Joe Stimson, parallel for the Bulldogs. Jason Saab, parallel for Manly. Hudson Young, parallel for Raiders. High Performance, Anari Tawala for the Knights. Adam Fanua Blake, parallel for Warriors. Master Apprentice, Isaiah Yeo for Panthers. Joey Manu, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, TC Rabati for Broncos. Panthers parallel checklist. Season to remember, Brett Morris for the Roosters. Patrick Carrigan, parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Joseph Sawali for the Roosters. Kevin Proctor, parallel for Titans. High Performance, David Nofaluma for Tigers. Latrell Mitchell, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Wade Graham, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Aaron Shoup for Bulldogs. Dane Laurie, parallel for Tigers. Master Apprentice, Valentine Holmes for the Cowboys. Clint Gufferson, parallel for Eels. Rising Stars, Helam Lukey for the Cowboys. Cody Ramsey, parallel for Dragons. Power Heroes, Ben Hunt for the Dragons. Nick Kotrick, parallel for Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Davey Mole for the Rabbits. Jordan Rapiner, parallel for Raiders. Season to Remember, Adam Reynolds for the Rabbitohs. Jason Tormalolo, parallel for Cowboys. And last but not least, for our case, Master Apprentice Black Herbie Farnworth for Broncos. Tyson Frizzell, parallel for Knights. Alright. Put these away and we will open our priority box, followed by the Elite Hobby. The Elite Hobby so far in the breaks hasn't let us down, guys. We've pulled some nice cards out of them. So let's hope that continues as well. But personally, I want to open a Legends card. I'm yet to do that for 22 Traders. The only cards I've opened have been in the breaks. So, bring on Legends, I say. Sure no one will disagree with me. Rising Stars, Davey Mole for the Rabbits. Campbell Graham, parallel for the Rabbits. But we're also looking for the parallel Team High Performance and the parallel Master and Apprentice Black. They are the priority box hits. Joe Stimson, parallel for Bulldogs. And keep an eye out, guys. We'll be doing Razzes for the Legends case cards. Try and make it fair. Jack Hetherington, season to remember for the Bulldogs. Hudson Young, parallel for Raiders. To make sure you tagged in that, find the tag post on Facebook, comment below. Unfortunately, it's just one tag list, so you'll get tagged in Razzes, breaks, anything that's new to do with 22 Traders. Header number 1 for the Power Heroes. Header A. Brian Kelly, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Jake Simpkin for the Tigers. Adam Fanua Blake, parallel for Warriors. Rising Stars, Jason Saab for Manly. Alex Twal, parallel for Tigers. High Performance, Roger Tuivasa Sheck for the Warriors. Joey Manu, parallel for Roosters. Power Heroes, Josh Papali for the Raiders. Panthers parallel checklist. Patrick Carrigan, parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Toby Sexton for the Titans. Wade Graham, parallel for the Sharks. Club Hero, Hayes Dunster for the Eels. Reid Mahoney, parallel for the Eels. Season to remember, David Nofaluma for the Tigers. Dane Laurie, parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Dino Remia for the Storm. Clint Gufferson, parallel for Eels. High Performance, Thomas Burgess for the Rabbitohs. Cody Ramsey, parallel for Dragons. Ooh. White Authentic Signature for the Knights. Ben Salmon. Jaden Brayley, number 30. Sorry guys, I just want to double check. No, I thought he got a signature already for the Knights. Wasn't, it's just a case card. All good, sorry. Jason Taumalolo, parallel for Cowboys. So Ben Salmon not doing too bad with the Knights. Rising Stars, Taylor May for Panthers. Ben Hunt, parallel for Dragons. And our priority team high performance for the Cowboys, Matt Crowhurst, number 2. He was looking for a predictor. We weren't that lucky so far, but we did get you the priority team high performance and a nice low number. Tyson Frizzell for the Cowboys, after the Knights. The number down to 45. Rising Stars, Teague Wilton for the Sharks. Storm parallel checklist. So we're halfway through our priority box, guys. Season to remember, Josh Curran for the Warriors. Gully Cherry Evans, parallel for Manly. God, that Tigers spot's nice and full. Rising Stars, Edward Cossey for the Warriors. Milwaukee Photo Ica, parallel for Titans. Season to remember, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Hammer Fido, parallel for Cowboys. Parallel, Damien Cook for the Rabbitohs. High Performance, David Clemmer for the Knights. Jake Avarillo, parallel for the Bulldogs. Master Apprentice, Blake Taff for the Rabbitohs. Jack Whiten, parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, TC Rabuddy for the Broncos. Cody Nikorima, parallel for the Warriors. Knights parallel checklist. Season to remember, Brian To'o for Panthers. Jared Riera Hargreaves, parallel for Roosters. Salami Kickout, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Aaron Shoop for the Bulldogs. Broncos parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Joseph Suwali for the Roosters. Jerome Hughes, parallel for Storm. Master Apprentice, Jake Arthur for the Eels. Matt Moylan, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Helam Lukey for the Cowboys. James Tarmo, parallel for Tigers. Season to remember, Murray Talagi for the Cowboys. Regan Campbell-Gillard, parallel for the Eels. 3 packets left for Traders. High Performance, Alex Twal for the Tigers. Brad Parker, parallel for Manly. And our Master and Apprentice Black, Mr. Hammer Fido for the Cowboys. 23 out of 23. Josh Kerr, parallel for Dragons. Jake Gramble, parallel for Cowboys, to finish us off with the Traders. Alright, so we have our hobby box for Elite. So last but not least is our Elite box. Here we go. White Young Guns, Tex Hoy for the Knights. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Dally M for the Warriors. Moses Leota, parallel for Panthers. Captains, Boyd Cordner and Jake Friend for the Roosters. Boyd in the Knights jersey. Cameron Murray, parallel for the Rabbits. James Fisher-Harris, Enforcers for Panthers. Chance Nico Klokstad, Maori All-Stars. Jake Clifford, parallel for Cowboys. Oh, and Elite hasn't let us down again. Number 12 out of 80. Dylan Cameron for the Tigers. James Tamo, white league sensation. Luke Brooks, parallel for the Tigers. And our Ruby, Mr. Ndalen Watine Zalesniak for the Bulldogs. Number 44. Jordan Ricky, parallel for Broncos. Jai Arrow, enforcers for the Rabbitohs. Andrew Fafita, Indigenous All-Stars. Knights parallel checklist. Aaron Woods, enforcers for the Sharks. Josh Alloway, parallel for Manly. Corbin McGregor, Maori All-Stars. Nothing on there. I think she's Roosters. Woohoo! Hobby definitely not letting us down. For Robert Kelly. Number 5 of 5, Dally Cherry Evans, Black Diamond. Regan Campbell Gillard, parallel for the Eels. Jack Bird, parallel for Dragons. Enforcers, Thomas McHale for the Tigers. Josh Hodgson, parallel for Raiders. Jared Wallace, enforcers for the Titans. Jack Whiten, Indigenous All-Stars. 4 packets left to go, guys. Don't forget, we've got to do the randomisations for these cards when we finish. Nick Kotrick, parallel for Bulldogs. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 10 randomisations all up. Hudson Young, Young Guns for Raiders. Dally M, Ali Briginshaw for the Broncos. Adam Fanua Blake, parallel for the Warriors. And last but not least, Martin Tapau, Enforcers for Manly. Alright guys, well that's the end of another break. Let's switch over. So we'll have our blues, or header number 2 blue, header number 1 blue, pink number 2, green number 1, then we have a blue number 2, a black number 2, a normal number 2, and 2 normal number 1s, followed by the Boyd. Alright. What do I need? That and that. So number 2. Number 1. Number 2. And number 3. Matt Crowhurst with the blue header B. It'd be so much easier if I just did all the 1 first, but to do it this way, same way they come out. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Scott Crimo with the Storm, another blue one. Alright, we're back to a B, pink. Number 1, number 2, and number 3 for the pink header B, numbered 108, Robert Kelly with the Roosters. Next up we have green header A, going too far up. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Kieran Zanoni with the Bulldogs. That's for the green, numbered 75. We have another blue, header number 2. Number 1, number 2, and lucky last number 3. Matt Price with the Warriors. Now is our black header B. Number 1, number 2, and number 3, and that's numbered 43 for Dylan Cameron and the Tigers. Alright, now we have another header B, but it's a normal Power Hero. Number 1, number 2, and lucky last, number 3. Greg Tunks with the Dragons. And to finish this off, we have 2 Power A's. Number 1, number 2. And lucky last, number 3. Tim Wilson with the Sharks. This is for our last header card. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Scott Crimo with the Storm. And our last randomisation for this break is for the Boyd card. Which is everyone. Alright, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Scott Crimo with the Storm again. Alright, well that's it. That's all, and hope you all had a ball. We'll see you again. We might be able to get off a bit earlier, but we'll aim for 2 o'clock just in case something happens. Maybe a bit earlier, but we'll see you all again.